Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mr. DDG94 here with another NBA 2K my career gameplay. Uh, before we go into the gameplay, I just want to show y'all the standings right now. We 15-0. I know after that last game we were 14-0, so I'm showing you the results after because I forgot to record the intro, so I was like, I didn't want to just jump right into the game. So yeah, so I just thought I'd just show y'all the standings right now. This is Eastern Conference. You know, it's a little early in the season to be saying, wow, this team's here, but it's gonna get better though. And of course the Bucks are in last place. I mean, that's pretty accurate. Sad but accurate. Wow, talk about accurate. The Lakers are even where they're supposed to be. It doesn't get more accurate than that. So yeah, you know, it's too early in the season to be complaining about these teams and where they stand right now, but Nuggets up there, you got the Warriors up there, you got the Pelicans up there, Timberwolves 12-5, the Spurs are 11-4, the Mavericks are 12-4, Clippers are that first seed right now. Clippers balling. The Clippers are balling. Can't wait to go up against them. Yeah, let's get into this game though. Let me try to drop him. Oh, never mind. And one. That's cash. Going up against the Bulls. I'm real shocked by how the Bulls are playing. It's like, I think they were like 6 in the East. I never doubted that they would make the playoffs. I mean, when you look at the Eastern Conference as a whole, it's not really strong. It's only like literally 2 teams that are strong, and then the rest are just like fillers. But the Bulls, I don't consider the Bulls a filler. I consider the Bulls an actual threat to both the top 2 teams in the East, which would be Miami and Indiana. I really would like to see them go up against Indiana, because I mean, we've seen them versus the Bulls. We've seen them versus the Heat in the playoffs too many times. I mean, it's getting real. It's boring now, because like what happened last year was the same thing that happened like in 2011. It was like the Bulls won the first game, and then the Heat just won the next 4. Like, and it's like, I mean, yeah, things could change. I mean, you know, third time can always be the charm, but still, I don't want to see this team going against the Heat in the playoffs. I want to see them going up against the Indiana Pacers. I think that'd be a better series, a more entertaining series, because Indiana had an easy going in last year's playoffs. And what I mean by easy going, I'm saying they didn't have a real challenge until they got to Miami. I didn't really consider the Knicks a big challenge, because the Knicks had lost their identity. It was like at the end of the season, you were thinking like the Knicks probably found themselves, but then they lost themselves when they got to the playoffs. So yeah, it was pretty. It was, you know, everybody was already counting the Knicks out when they had to face the Pacers. So yeah. So yeah, I'm really hoping that we get a Chicago versus Indiana series instead of a Chicago Miami in the second round for the 3rd year now. This will be like the 3rd year they faced each other in the playoffs. Okay. Pass right here. Okay, they still don't like pass me the ball. I don't know why. I give it to me. Oh, he playing me off me. Ooh. Just threw it down on him. Nice little dunk right there. Now I gotta guard Rose. Let me talk about Derrick Rose. Since we're talking about the Bulls, talk about Rose. Uh, let me just say this. I wasn't a big fan of Derrick Rose coming out of Memphis. I wasn't really a big fan of his. I I was more in the belief of I was more in the belief of I think it was yeah, Russell Westbrook. See, I told y'all in one of my videos, I told y'all I like Russell Westbrook before I like Kevin Durant. And why did I like Russell Westbrook more? Because I liked him. I liked him because of what I saw from him in college. I liked his game. You know, he played like he can basically dominate anyone. And even though I think who was UCLA, and even though UCLA they didn't really go far in that tournament, they didn't achieve what they set out to achieve in that tournament. I think that team was loaded that year. They had Darren Collison, Kevin Love, uh, who else? Yeah, Russell Westbrook, and I forgot who else. But that team was stacked. And when you look at where all those guys are now on that team was a beast going into for those guys to have successful NBA careers. But yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of Derrick Rose, mainly because one, he couldn't shoot, and two, he couldn't. Two, he wasn't a great free throw shooter. I guess if there's one thing that I dislike about there's one thing I if there's one thing I have to have about a point guard, all my point guards they gotta at least have a mid-range jump shot. Your jump shot can't be a floater. It just can't be a floater. It's not it's not a high percentage. It's not a high percentage shot, especially from mid range. I think that I think that Derrick Rose is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like his I don't like the fact that he doesn't take jump shots. He's not a jump shooter. I don't know why he's not a jump shooter. He should be a jump shooter. He has a lot of talent on him, but yet he doesn't want to take jump shots. I know he's their only offensive weapon, but when you look at who's on this team this year, you got Mike Dunleavy, and Carlos Boozer. They got a couple of you still got Carlos Boozer, you still DJ Augustine. You got a couple of guys on this team that could that can make some offensive things happen. But it really depends on it does come down to Derrick Rose closing out the game for them. I do know that, but he should really consider slowing down because now you tore your meniscus and what was it, his left or right leg? I think it was his right leg because I think he tore his ACL in his left leg, and now he tore his meniscus. He's questionable for the playoffs, but I doubt he's going to play in the playoffs. I don't think he's playing in the playoffs. I think he's going to sit the rest of this year out. You know, and another thing that made me mad about him coming back too was he didn't talk about he said the only thing he said he improved on was getting healthy. Okay, you've been getting help. We know you've been getting healthy. You sat out a whole year. We know you healthy. But what about the rest of your game? The only thing he talked about was his 40. Was he improved his vertical? It's like a 40-inch vertical. I'm like, dude, what does your vertical have to do with the whole body of work of your game? What about your jump shot? What about your defense? What about getting? What about we know what about conditioning wise? Like what? Like are you doing anything else? You just working on making yourself more athletic. So basically, what you're doing is you putting more pressure on your knees, and then eventually something's gonna happen. And that's another thing with Derrick Rose too. He goes full force. I know Russell Westbrook goes full force, but the thing about Russell Westbrook is he can slow down. Like, for instance, when the defense is like in the zone and they try to trap, Derrick Rose goes at that zone. He doesn't like step back and just like try to take a jump shot. He goes head on with that zone, and then uh, and then when you see with Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook sees a trap, he'll either pass out to Kevin Durant, or he'll stop, step back, and take a three. I mean, it's just it's just not it's just not some it's just not it's just not what he should be doing, considering the fact he just came off an ACL tear. I mean, that's just if there's just one thing Derrick Rose just needs to learn is to learn when to take a jump shot and when to drive to the basket. He drives to the basket not 90% of the time. He's driving to the basket when the ball's in his hand or when he's just trying to score. The ball, he's gonna drive to the basket. Russell Westbrook doesn't drive to the basket. Russell Westbrook takes jump shots. He takes more than Kevin Durant, but at least he's taking. At least he has the knowledge to take a jump shot more than try to drive to the basket and just put all that pressure on his knees. You know, I just wish that Derrick Rose would just develop more on his jump shot and on his jump shot and his point guard abilities and his IQ, because I think that he's not a good he's not a great facilitator for a point guard, but once again he's the only offensive weapon they have. See, and that's another thing too. He needs a sidekick. There's one thing that Bulls could have been did this by now. They could have been got him a sidekick. They could have traded for a draft pick. Um, they could have did a lot of stuff for for uh for Derrick Rose. He just needed a sidekick. Not somebody who's not some and not a one-dimensional sidekick. That's the problem. They've been getting one-dimensional sidekicks. They either get him a sidekick that either just plays defense or a sidekick that can only shoot. They never get him a sidekick that can that can that can that can do two things at once. They never got a guy who can score and play defense, or a guy who has a motor like no other. So that's why I think the Bulls, they're not doing, like, they're so focused on defense, but yet, and then when they try to focus on offense, it's always through Derrick Rose, and they'll just pick up a shooter. The offense goes through Derrick Rose and 3-point shooters. That's not going to work. You need an offensive weapon. You need somebody who's going to be a problem. I mean, I like Jimmy Butler. I think he's good, but he's not great offensively. He's a spot up shooter. He's not a guy who drives to the basket. A guy who doesn't drive to the basket a lot, I should say. Plus the ball handling skills, a little iffy with me. I'm a little iffy with his ball handling skills too. So that's another problem. But he's developing. He's a work in progress. But yeah, I think that Derrick Rose should really consider, slowing down his game because you just messed up both your knees. And I'm pretty sure if one more little injury, I'm pretty sure he's getting traded, and the Bulls are just going to rebuild, especially if they don't go after Carmelo Anthony. If they if they don't get Carmelo Anthony, I think it's over for them. I think it's over for the Bulls. They're gonna just implode. You see how they got rid of Luau Deng? They got rid of Luau Deng because they feel like there's a lot of free agents out there to go get. So yeah, I think. I mean, they could get Carmelo. They could get, you know, somebody. They can get somebody as equal as Carmelo. They could probably get a Kevin Love. You never know. You know, I don't. They don't have to go out there, and try and ship for a LeBron James or somebody like that. They just need someone who can do the same stuff that Derrick Rose does, but they have more years under them. You know, you just need he needs a running buddy. Like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook with LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Like he needs somebody who can match his talents. That's what I mean by getting Derrick Rose a good sidekick. Somebody that can match his talents, not somebody that can only do one thing, while Derrick Rose has to do the rest. Because Derrick Rose is not a great facilitator. He does not pass the ball a lot. I think he only averages like what 6 assists a game. That's not good enough. I mean, if I was controlling the Bulls, I would probably have made a trade for Rudy Gay earlier in the season. I would probably trade away Luau Dang and Carlos Boozer because everybody wanted Carlos Boozer gone anyway. Get uh, so why not get a so why not get Rudy Gay? I feel like Rudy Gay would have been a great matchup for a great match for Derrick Rose and the Bulls. They should have really went out there and got him. Even though I think by the time they would have got him, Derrick Rose would have probably have torn his meniscus at the time. So, eh. But I mean, at least they still got somebody that they can work with. Another person they could have went out and got was Danny Granger. They could have got him. I know he has injury problems too, but still, like I said, it's better to get somebody that can match his talents instead of getting someone who's just one dimensional, can only do one thing. They need someone who can do who can do multiple things just as good as Derrick Rose does. And I felt like Danny Granger, Rudy Gay, or even they could. I mean, since the 76ers were so willing to shop away Evan Turner, they could have did that for him too. It would have worked out perfectly. Bringing Evan Turner to Chicago, you know how great that would have been. They could have gave up anybody for Luau Dang. I think they probably could have got a Armand Shepard or somebody from the Knicks too. I remember them saying that the Knicks in Chicago were trying to make some trades earlier in the season, but I think the Knicks were asking for a little bit too much, and the Bulls weren't willing to give up a lot for certain players. But yeah, I think the Knicks are not the Knicks, but I think the Bulls. They're a good team. I mean, they've lost Derrick Rose for 2 years straight now. 2 years straight they've gone without Derrick Rose, and they have played excellent. I'm not surprised because I think that Tom Thibodeau, he's a great coach. I think he should be coach of the year, hands down. Even though I think Jeff Hornacek should be the coach, but the Phoenix Suns are out of the playoff picture right now. They need to get back in tune. But but yeah, I would definitely consider Tom Thibodeau coach of the year. Um, Joakim Noah player of the year, probably. I don't know. I, like I said, the Bulls are a great team. They got good coaching. They got good chemistry. Um, they got they got leaders, so they don't need a lot of veteranship on their team because they got leaders. Joakim Noah is a leader. Carlos Boozer is a leader. Everybody on that team is unified. But yeah, that's the game. We blow out the Bulls. I didn't make an intro, so I'll probably put it. I didn't record an intro, so I'll probably put something in the beginning of the video. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but yeah, that's the game. We're gonna get into these highlights and these stats. Peace.
This is produced by Silence Beats. You are listening to Silence Beats. Silence Beats. Purchase your beats now. Silence Beats.
Points. That's a big time game. Without a doubt, you were a critical part of this team's win. Any comment on how you scored so much?
Man, I think I had so many points because our team was playing the pace we wanted. It seemed that each trip down the floor, we were able to get exactly what we wanted with our offensive set, and I just happened to be the benefactor of that. When we get in the groove, man, we can put up a lot of points in a hurry, and somebody's going to have to finish those chances. Tonight, it just happened to be me.